Marcus's highly paid private financial advisor was angry again. Just because I urgently needed a project collaboration and hadn't gotten her approval, she threw a fit at the company, tearing up the documents I'd worked so hard on and tossing all my belongings out of the CEO's office. She declared, "It's either her or me. One of us has to go." After her outburst, she simply went on strike. To prove his devotion, Marcus immediately announced my dismissal. "She's just a sensitive young woman with strong self-esteem. This is partly your fault. Why didn't you follow the proper application process? Once I've pacified her, you can come back." I was silent for a long moment before speaking. "This is the 100th time you've publicly humiliated me for her." Marcus seemed not to hear, still smiling. "Once I've taken her out to clear her head, I'll come back to you." That evening, Ashley posted a picture of the company's corporate seal on her social media post and sent me a message, her tone condescending. "Marcus says the company's money is mine, and only I have the right to stand by his side. I'll forgive you this time. Don't challenge my authority again." Only then did Marcus come home, covered in hickeys, and casually handed me an invitation. "Come with me to a charity gala in a few days. I need you for a collaboration." But the Jiang family of Easton Sion on the phone wasn't pleased. "What kind of gala requires 3 people to attend? Weren't you already reserved by me?" The magnetic voice on the other end of the line carried undeniable jealousy and possessiveness. Marcus froze, his brows furrowed. "Grace, who is he?" Ethan was my childhood friend, and he'd recently returned to the country, insisting I accompany him to a charity gala, but was very strict about my relationships, and to give him a sense of security, I always consciously kept my distance from other men, never taking off my wedding ring. So I refused. "All right, I haven't agreed yet. Let's talk about tea." Later. After hanging up, I wanted to explain, but Marcus unhappily tossed the invitation onto the table. "Grace, you knew I was taking you to the charity gala, and you deliberately found an actor to put on a show and manipulate me. Do you have any idea how much effort I put into coaxing Ashley and cleaning up your mess just to get her to let you back into the company? Haven't I rushed back to be with you? What more do you want?" He rubbed his temples, looking exhausted, as if my immaturity had worn him out. "There's a limit to how capricious and unreasonable you can be." Suddenly, I felt ridiculous. I had to get permission from an outsider just to return to my own company? In our 3rd year of marriage, he said he wanted to hire a private financial advisor. Understanding his busy schedule, I agreed. But he hired his inexperienced junior from the same university. Ashley had no real ability. She just used her title as the CEO's private financial advisor to create a mountain of tedious procedures. Even for a few cents worth of printing paper, she'd make him approve it 3 or 4 times before getting the money, wasting both human and material resources. I told Marcus to fire her, but Ashley claimed I was targeting her and threw a week-long fit. It severely disrupted the company's normal operations. Yet, Marcus not only refused to fire her but, to appease her, transferred me to Africa, where a virus was rampant, to negotiate a project. I almost contracted AIDS and died there. This time, Ashley threw a tantrum and tore up my documents, running wild and trampling all over me, the company's vice. He even fired me just to appease her. A full 100 times. He publicly shamed me, his wife, 4 other women. I had always been patient, not wanting to damage our marital relationship and willing to indulge him. But he'd forgotten who his true wife was. Capricious and unreasonable? I fought hard to suppress the anger in my chest, looking at him with utter disappointment. Leaving aside how many times you've crossed the line for Ashley, do you even realize the consequences of letting that incompetent woman post something as confidential as the company's corporate seal on a social media post? If company doesn't want to declare bankruptcy right now, saving it from outsiders, then you need to act. Hearing me criticize Ashley, Marcus, who had been somewhat uneasy and guilty, immediately became displeased. "Grace, you're still dwelling on those trivial matters. Ashley is just a simple, kind girl who puts her heart into her work. Can't you put aside your jealousy?" I was so angry I almost laughed. I couldn't take it anymore. "You're my husband, coming home covered in hickeys in the middle of the night, calling me sordid and telling me to be generous?" He uncomfortably tugged at his collar to cover up, glaring at me angrily. "Mosquito bites. What are you thinking? In any case, misappropriating funds is your fault. I hope you remember from now on, no matter the amount, you can only use money after Ashley's approval." Even though we were an intimate couple, and half of the company and its assets were mine. He, however, branded me with the accusation of misappropriating funds. He wanted me to beg others for money to use. No wonder Ashley dared to act entitled and challenge me repeatedly. Marcus's phone suddenly rang. The visible impatience on his face melted away, replaced by doting affection. Ashley, what's wrong? Ashley, deliberately provoking me, raised her voice. Marcus, I just had a nightmare. Can you come and stay with me? If mine's, then pretend I didn't say anything. I don't want her to hate me again. Marcus agreed without hesitation, then turned and unhappily accused me. Look how you've scared the poor girl. I need to go and comfort her. The collaboration I mentioned earlier is very important. Several companies are vying for it, and you must secure it. Looking at the closed door, I felt both disappointed and disheartened. Edition. Before appeared, we were deeply in love and supported each other. How had things changed so much? When called again, asking me to accompany him, I no longer refused. All right, I agree. The next day, I returned to the company to organize my ongoing projects. As soon as I sat down, I noticed that the items Ashley had tossed out yesterday hadn't been put back, and my computer password had been changed. My face was expressionless, my voice cold. Who did this? Sam immediately rushed forward to explain. Grace, Ashley said you were fired and that your trash was in the way. She also tampered with your computer. I couldn't stop her. No sooner had he finished speaking than Ashley appeared before me, strutting like a victorious rooster. Oops, Grace, my hands slipped yesterday and I threw them out. As for the computer, yes, I tampered with it. She showed no remorse, brazenly stating, Marcus said that besides him, I'm in charge of the company. To punish you for always breaking the rules, from now on, before you use the computer, you have to come to me and submit a request, promising not to misappropriate funds again. Only then will I turn it on for you. Any client you deal with also needs my approval. Also, the computer will automatically shut down every hour, so remember to come to me early for permission. She even lifted her chin proudly, emphasizing, Marcus personally approved this, so if you don't believe me, you can call him. My face hardened as I glanced at her, then called Marcus. What is the meaning of this? He seemed to have anticipated my call, saying indifferently, Ashley's wishes are my wishes. If you do things properly, there won't be any issues. Don't bother me with such trivial matters, I'm very busy. Then he ruthlessly hung up the phone. Looking at Marcus's wedding photo on my phone screen, my face turned ice cold. Meanwhile, Ashley was smugly triumphant, crossing her arms and acting like the lady of the house, challenging me, remember to hand over your phone for me to manage. This is an order. Many employees, hearing this, began to murmur, damn, Ashley is truly favored. She can actually order the vice around? Of course. She's president's favorite. I bet she'll replace Vice Jiang sooner or later and become the president's wife. Looks like I need to butter her up quickly. Listening to the gossip, I sneered inwardly. She wants to replace me? Does she really think I'm a pushover, someone she can just manipulate? Anything that's been tainted only deserves to be trash. Someone, smash it. Too lazy to argue with her, I gave an order, and Sam, along with others, rushed into the office and smashed everything Ashley had touched, making it clean, including the computer she'd password protected. Grace, Marcus said you have to listen to me at the company. Stop immediately, or you'll be destroying company property and going against me. Ashley's face flushed crimson. She frantically told Sam to stop, but he subtly bumped her, making her stumble. I walked over, looking down at her. Who do you think you are? If you don't watch yourself, you'll be cleared out just like this trash. Perhaps intimidated by the coldness in my eyes, she recoiled, no longer daring to challenge me. The employees also kept silent. I scoffed and strode away. But before I even left the company building, Marcus called to confront me. Grace, just because you insist on being difficult, and Ashley, not minding the trouble, came up with this solution for herself, you treat her like this? What exactly are you trying to achieve? I said nothing, but he took my silence as an admission of guilt. You must go back and apologize to Ashley. Otherwise, even if you are my wife, I will have the company's legal department sue you for all damages. He wanted me to be constrained by Ashley at every turn, counting the minutes to beg her. When my authority was challenged, he dismissed it as a trivial matter. But when Ashley suffered a tiny injustice, he couldn't wait to drag me to apologize in person, and even threatened to sue me for Ashley's sake. What a wonderful husband I had. Since didn't care about my dignity at all, I no longer needed to tolerate it. The bitterness in my heart was replaced by coldness, and I let out a sneer, whatever you want. Since you think it's a trivial matter, then let your darling financial advisor handle all the company's affairs from now on. I wanted to see if the person he valued so highly actually had the competence. Marcus was determined to stand up for Ashley and actually called the company's legal department. With a wave of my hand, I simply paid 10 times the amount. However, the condition was that I would also sue Ashley for abuse of power, causing me reputational and emotional distress. Marcus, unable to do anything, sulked and had Ashley take over all my work. Ashley smugly posted passive-aggressive comments on her social media post. Someone's job has zero technical skill, yet they think their position at the company is unshakable, hee. Any fool could tell who she was talking about, yet Marcus dotingly commented below, Ashley is the best, she can do anything. I scoffed. Ashley barely understood financial management and constantly gave out confused instructions. Letting her handle business liaisons? You can imagine the chaos. Sure enough, in less than 3 days, Marcus rushed home, completely swamped. Not to apologize, but to confront me. Grace, this project was fine when you were handling it. How did it go wrong the moment Ashley took over? Now, all our clients and investors are offended. Orders are either being cancelled or delayed, the company's reputation is severely damaged, and we've lost $1 billion in 2 days. I looked at him expressionlessly. You're blaming me for a mess caused by an incompetent person? Marcus choked, glaring at me furiously. Ashley is innocent and ambitious. How could she mess it up unless you deliberate? Ly targeted her. You've even bullied her into getting sick. While angrily condemning me, he didn't forget to tell Maria to make chicken soup for him to take away. I'd damaged my stomach from endless work dinners for the company, and several times I'd woken up in the middle of the night, pale and sweating from pain, yet he would only tell me to have Sam buy medicine. But was merely feigning illness, and he was there, making porridge and stew, meticulously caring for her. It was utterly ridiculous. I won't hold what happened last time against you. Now, hurry back to the company and clean up this mess. Stop being unreasonable. Impossible. I won't be negotiating tomorrow night's project either. Go find Ashley. Hearing this, Marcus's eyes widened in disbelief. Grace, are you actually threatening me? Do you even see me as your husband anymore? It's you who doesn't see me as your wife. My voice was laced with sarcasm. Ever since Ashley arrived, your heart has been completely devoted to her. Marcus, do you really think I'm a robot, whose value can be endlessly exploited? You cherish her so much, why don't you just divorce me now and let her take my place? That way, things won't be so unofficial. Marcus seemed to have been hit where it hurt, his face turning pale then flushed. I told you I only see Ashley as a sister. Whatever. I closed my eyes, resting, and paid him no further attention. Seeing that I wouldn't budge, Marcus finally softened his expression and took my hand. All right, wife, I just wanted Ashley to mature quickly, and I temporarily lost my sense of proportion, making you unhappy. I'll keep my distance from her in the future, and the vice position is still yours. You can come back to the company whenever you want. He took out a designer dress, coaxing me softly. Do you like it? I chose it especially for you. You're the only one who truly belongs by my side. After all, I had loved him, and I couldn't bring myself to be ruthless. I thought he would come to his senses. The next day, Ashley swaggered into the house, wearing my designer dress, and cast me a provocative look. Oops, Marcus said it looks better on me, so he gave it to me. Marcus's gaze darted away. Ashley needs to give a speech at her alma mater. We can't let people look down on her. Have someone buy you a new one. He didn't want her to be looked down upon, but what about me? Extreme disappointment led to numbness. I couldn't be bothered to say anything and called Sam to order one. But then Ashley started acting up again. You didn't submit a request to me 10 business days in advance, so you can't use Marcus's money to buy clothes. She even feigned a wronged expression. If you insist on buying it, are you upset with me? Do you look down on me? Ha, Marcus owed nearly half of his assets to me. What did she mean? I used his money. My eyes nearly rolled into the back of my head. Though wasn't as openly protective as before, he still couldn't help but glare at me and gently coax Ashley. Ashley then pushed her luck, mentioning she wanted to go to the charity gala. Normally, Marcus would have agreed instantly, but this time he hesitated, glanced at me, and didn't give in. We have important business. I'll take you next time, be a good girl. Ashley's expression flickered, and she could only smile, suppressing the unwillingness in her eyes. Okay, I'll listen to Marcus. The two of them once again put on a show of sibling affection, completely ignoring me. My phone vibrated. It was Ethan. Grace, these 10 gowns were custom made for you by a royal artisan in London, specially measured to your size. Each one is unique. Please do me the honor of wearing one tonight. It was clear who was thoughtful and who was perfunctory. A wave of warmth spread through me, and I replied with a smile, okay, see you tonight. Then I turned and went upstairs, no longer paying attention to the two of them being overly affectionate in the living room. It had been years since we last met. I wondered what the mischievous boy who used to trail behind me, calling out Grace, had become. Before we left, Marcus was once again urgently called away by a phone call, telling me to go by myself. No need to guess, it had to be Ashley. My heart felt nothing. I took off my wedding ring, tossed it into the trash can, changed into the evening gown Ethan had sent, and went alone. Soon after, I saw Ashley emerge from Marcus's car, strutting proudly like a peacock displaying its feathers. Marcus had once again broken a promise to me for her, but I no longer cared. I showed no reaction, but Marcus, on the contrary, seemed displeased, his gaze fixed on the indentation left on my left ring finger. Ashley, seeing the gown I was wearing, which was far superior in quality to her ill-fitting one, a flicker of jealousy and greed flashed in her eyes. She seized the opportunity to play the victim. Grace, you obviously secretly bought such an expensive dress, so why did you deliberately try to make me look bad? I scoffed with disdain, you're not even worth my consideration. You. Ashley was so enraged her face distorted. Marcus protectively shielded her behind him, glaring at me furiously. Grace, that's enough. Why did you secretly arrange for someone to ruin Ashley's alma mater speech, and use such awful words to curse her? Can't you just stop for once? I gave the invitation to Ashley as compensation. After you secure the project, just take a taxi home yourself. Remember, the company recently suffered losses, and this project is very important. Don't throw a tantrum over trivial matters. Anyone of slight prominence in high society could attend the charity gala, but only those with an invitation could enter the auction hall, which was a symbol of status. Marcus never considered my situation, nor did he believe me. This was his so-called promise? I curled my lips into a sarcastic smile but said nothing, turning to leave. The collaboration had progressed quite smoothly. Just as it was about to be finalized, Ashley suddenly interjected, Grace, you've already offended all the company's clients before, and now you're planning to embezzle Lynn's public funds for personal gain? You have no bottom line. She was eager to prove herself, smiling obsequiously at Davis. Hello, Davis, I'm President's private financial advisor at Lynn's Group, and I manage all of the company's financial flow. You can discuss matters with me. Grace has already been dismissed and has no capital whatsoever. She even pulled out the company's disciplinary action letter against me for destroying company property, using it to prove my misconduct. Fortunately, Davis, who had been immersed in the business world for years, had sharp judgment and didn't believe her. The collaboration was successfully concluded. Ashley was furious, stomping her feet. Just then, with the auction about to begin, she used my lack of an invitation as an excuse and called the event's security to have me thrown out. Marcus, who came over upon hearing the commotion, did not intervene. Knowing I had already secured the collaboration, he indulged Ashley's actions. You've been targeting Ashley all along, you have a duty to atone. This time, just go home and reflect properly. The mocking or sympathetic whispers from around me drifted into my ears. No way, the vice of such a large corporation can't even get into a small auction? How humiliating is that? What private financial advisor? I think she's Marcus's affair partner. Otherwise, who would publicly shame his wife for an outsider? See? Even outsiders could see through Marcus better than he could. I looked him directly in the eyes, speaking each word clearly. Marcus, don't regret making this decision later. Marcus frowned but didn't pay attention. He was convinced I was just putting on a brave face and wouldn't really turn on him over such a trivial matter. Just as Ashley was instructing the security guard to escort and remove me, a familiar voice rang out from behind. Stop. I'd like to see who dares to touch Grace. Ethan, the Jeong family of Easton's scion, walked over, dressed in a custom suit worth tens of millions, his face grim. All of you, watch your mouths. Grace is with me, and she's more qualified to be here than anyone else in this room. Everyone was utterly stunned. The person in charge rushed over, sweating profusely, to apologize to me. Miss, I am truly sorry. My subordinates were blind and offended you. Please, come right in. Marcus, of course, knew the reputation of Ethan, the Jeong family of Easton's scion. But hadn't Ethan been abroad all this time? Why was he here? And why was he so intimately holding Grace, calling her Grace? Also, why didn't Grace shake him off and explain herself? The more he thought, the more flustered he became. Marcus's voice was tinged with anger and jealousy. Grace, weren't you supposed to attend with me tonight? What's your relationship with him? He could disregard my dignity and let Ashley stand by his side. When I merely treated him the same way, why did he get so anxious? A sarcastic curve appeared on my lips, but I ignored his questions. Instead, I smiled at Ethan. Let's go. I've been waiting for you. Ignoring the furious Marcus and Ashley, I linked arms with Ethan and entered the auction hall. Once seated, Ethan and I caught up, my eyes reflecting a contented smile. Ashley, seeing that I had gained the favor of Ethan, the Jeong family of Easton's scion, and had also stolen Marcus's attention, was nearly consumed by jealousy. Her originally smooth, ironed dress was now wrinkled beyond repair from her frantic clutching. Marcus, meanwhile, adopted the look of a betrayed husband, his face grim as he stared at me. If this were before, I would have already gone over to explain. This time, I didn't even spare him a glance. He finally couldn't help but sit beside me, asserting his claim. Wife, why didn't you tell me you knew Mr. Chang? The moment Ethan saw him approach, his smile vanished. He sneered at him. Grace and I have known each other since childhood, we're childhood friends. Who are you to point fingers? What's your standing? You. Given status, Marcus didn't erupt, forcing a stiff smile. Mr. Chang, you jest. Grace and I are husband and wife, of course. I have the right to know about her social connections. As for you, isn't it inappropriate to keep holding my wife's hand? Ethan scoffed softly, not even bothering to look at him directly. Ha, you were so involved with other women, yet you didn't remember you had a wife? You're truly shameless. Marcus finally lost his temper, roaring, Ethan, this is Southwood. Even a powerful dragon shouldn't oppress a local snake. Don't go too far. I frowned, shielding Ethan behind me, my voice laced with coldness. Enough. Ethan was just speaking the truth. Don't throw a fit and disrespect the occasion. Haven't you embarrassed yourself enough already? Marcus's eyes widened. He looked at me in disbelief. Throw a fit? Grace, you're actually saying that to me for an outsider? Think what you want. Under my cold expression, Marcus seemed to recall how he had once openly defended Ashley in front of me. His face turned paler and paler, and he could only return to his seat. Ethan, abandoning his previously unapproachable demeanor, gently tugged my arm. Grace, I'm sorry. I know quite a bit about what you've been through with them. Those two are simply awful, and I couldn't help myself. You won't blame me for being disrespectful to him, will you? Ethan had always been genuine and straightforward since childhood, clear about his likes and dislikes, but rarely difficult with people. Just now, he was quite aggressive. It was clear he was standing up for me. A sudden warmth welled up in my heart, and the years of unfamiliarity completely vanished. I couldn't help but pat his head as I used to when he was little, sighing. Ethan has grown up, he can stand on his own now. Besides, even if he lost face, Marcus brought it upon himself. Didn't he repeatedly condone Ashley's provocations against me, even going so far as to hurt my dignity to protect her, claiming Ashley was just a simple young girl who needed his protection? And now that the boomerang hit him, he can't stand it? Ethan let out a proud huff, but his cheeks and earlobes were tinged with a faint pink. Grace, I'm not a child anymore. I laughed aloud. All right, I get it, the famous Ethan, the Jeong family of Easton's scion. During the auction, Marcus, wanting to assert his presence, bid on a landscape painting I had glanced at a couple of times, intending to give it to me. However, at the payment stage, he was refused by Ashley. Marcus, didn't you promise me that all the money would be under my control? Besides, Grace just infuriated you. I don't agree to spend so much money buying this worthless painting for her. At her words, the people around exchanged glances, and the person in charge reminded him, Mr. Lin, auctions have their rules. Please make your payment promptly, or you will be permanently blacklisted from the venue. Marcus's face turned mortified at this. He hadn't expected the usually understanding Ashley to throw a tantrum at such a crucial moment. With so many eyes on them, especially meeting my mocking gaze, he could only suppress his anger. All right, can you be more sensible? Everyone's watching. Ashley had never been reprimanded by him before, making her feel even more wronged. She stubbornly refused to yield. Ethan, deliberately not wanting to make things easy for them, sarcastically commented, "If you can't even afford a $3 million fake, don't come out here embarrassing yourself. Grace, I'll light up the sky for you, pick any collection piece you like." Now, everyone around cast strange glances at Marcus and Ashley. I can't believe a dignified CEO is completely controlled by some financier advisor. He can't even produce a few million. How utterly embarrassing. Good thing we don't have business dealings with them. Hey, who doesn't know that the real person in charge of Lynn's is a Ms. Liu? I really don't understand why someone would casually hand over their lifeline to an outsider. They must be crazy. Marcus finally experienced the humiliation I had endured earlier. His face was extremely unsightly. Yet, wanting to use this to make me completely despised, deliberately fanned the flames. Marcus, look, she isn't even speaking up for you. Why bother wasting your efforts trying to please someone like her? Enough. Shut up. You're useless and only make things worse. Marcus, utterly humiliated and enraged, slapped her, then walked over to me to explain. Grace, I truly wanted to buy that for you. No need, I said coldly. I don't want it. Neither the painting nor the person. Ignoring, Ethan and I focused on discussing the collectible value of the auction items, bidding on them one by one right in front of him. Marcus watched all of this with a livid face and was soon escorted out by the auction house. And, in a hurry, chased after him to flirt and vie for his attention. It was 1 a.m. when I got home. As soon as I entered, I saw Marcus sitting on the sofa, his eyes bloodshot, staring at the door. In his hand, he tightly clutched the wedding ring I had thrown into the trash can. Only when he saw me did he let out a sigh of relief, as if a great weight had been lifted. I ignored him, walking directly towards the bedroom, but he called out to me. Grace, stop right there. He walked up to me and angrily gripped my shoulders. Why did you throw away the wedding ring? Why are you so intimate with another man? Why did you just stand there watching him give me a hard time? Didn't you say you'd never betray me? That gown you're wearing, he gave it to you, didn't he? When did you two get together? What damn Jiang family of Easton's scion? So what if he's powerful and influential? I'm telling you, as long as I'm still around, mistress. He was consumed by jealousy, speaking recklessly and offensively. I couldn't help but pull away from him. Are you sick? Do you think everyone's as sordid as you? Don't lose your mind on me. He froze, seemingly not expecting me to retort like that, his eyes bloodshot. Grace, what do you mean by this? You need to explain yourself clearly today. Sure enough, those who care less are more self-consistent. At this moment, Marcus seemed to be standing in the shoes I had once worn. But it was time to be frank. I stopped, my gaze piercing him like a knife. I smiled. Marcus, before you question me, can you first ask yourself how you've treated Ashley? Picking her up and dropping her off, going to her house in the middle of the night to coax her to sleep, letting her manage all your money, not to mention how many times you've publicly humiliated me for her. Which of these isn't more over the top than me wearing a gown Ethan gave me to attend a gala with him? Who exactly is your wife? What, my feelings don't deserve attention? Only when the needle pricks you do you feel the pain? I was utterly fed up. Let's get a divorce. There's nothing more to say between us. Looking at the signed divorce agreement, Marcus's face was filled with disbelief. Grace, we've been married for 3 years, and you're actually divorcing me over such trivial matters? Stop dragging Ashley into this. If you weren't always giving her a hard time, I wouldn't have to constantly protect her. I think you've fallen for Ethan, you've cheated on me. Even now, he still considered his boundary-crossing actions with Ashley to be trivial, and that our relationship had reached this point solely because of Ethan's appearance, and that I had changed my heart. Little did he know, it was he who had consistently deviated and strayed. I frowned in annoyance. It has nothing to do with him. Don't drag innocent people into tea. It will only make me detest you more. Marcus's face stiffened. Finally realizing I was serious, he frantically grabbed my arm. No, we're not getting a divorce. If you were truly angry, you wouldn't have helped me successfully secure that collaboration. That means you still care about me, you still love me, right? Wife, I was wrong. Before, I neglected your feelings for Ashley's sake, but I truly only wanted to mentor her. Every time I saw her, she reminded me of my sister, and I unconsciously wanted to compensate. Beyond that, there was nothing inappropriate. He explained endlessly, his eyes red. Only then did I learn that he once had a neighborhood sister who had drowned trying to save him, and she was around Ashley's age. But I honestly found it laughable. So, for a similar substitute, he could recklessly ignore and hurt me? Moreover, Ashley clearly intended to usurp my position. I didn't believe he'd never indulged in the underlying intimacy. But what did that have to do with me? As for the project with Davis, I handed him the signed project contract. Who said I negotiated it for you? Marcus opened it, bewildered, only to find that the contracting party wasn't Lynn's, but Jung's. He finally realized. No wonder Ethan said you'd known each other since childhood. So, you're from the Jiang family of Easton? Grace. You had this divorce planned all along, didn't you? You've tolerated so much already, why can't you give me one more chance? I said I'd change. So, in his mind, I deserved to be endlessly patient? My gaze was ice cold. Marcus, I gave you many chances. You just didn't appreciate them. My family had always known about my marriage to Marcus, but at the time, his family background was unhappy, so he wasn't willing to interact with my family after we married. I respected his wishes and shielded him from my family's pressure. Fortunately, my parents doted on me and considered it an experience for me outside to help him build up the business. I concealed my identity and worked tirelessly to secure collaborations, enduring difficult clients who forced drinks on me and gave me the cold shoulder. But after the company was established, he forgot my contributions, letting Ashley mock me as a leech who spent his money. A heart is made of flesh, it can only endure so much pain before it breaks. Marcus froze, then slumped to the ground, his voice choked. No, wife, I was wrong. If you want to start a company, start one. It doesn't matter whose project it is. I'll send Ashley away, all right? I won't mention you and Ethan anymore. Please, don't leave me. There was a time when Marcus's red eyes would melt my heart. Now, as he broke down in tears, my heart felt not a single ripple. Because the love I once felt had long been eroded by countless acts of neglect and hurt. Remember to sign the agreement. From now on, when we meet, we'll be rivals. After saying this, I paid him no further attention. I went back to my room, picked up my documents, and left, taking nothing that belonged to him. Marcus tore up the agreement, dragging his feet and refusing to divorce. His messages and texts bombarded me with apologies and pleas, sending gifts and feigning illness to beg for reconciliation. I ignored it all, having Sam print a copy of the agreement and send it to him daily, making my stance very clear. When I previously left Lynn's, familiar clients assumed Marcus and I were just having a spat. Even with Ashley, that useless troublemaker, they gritted their teeth and planned to continue working with Lynn's out of respect for me, just waiting for my return. But now, I not only established a Zhong's branch company in Southwood but also publicly declared my intention to completely sever ties with Marcus. The clients and investors I had managed all terminated their contracts, switching to collaborate with Zhong's instead. Furthermore, with my identity as a scion of the Jiang family of Easton exposed, there was no shortage of P.E. Opal coming to pledge allegiance. Many, knowing about my situation with Lynn's, wanted to curry favor and spontaneously began to encircle and suppress Lynn's. I didn't express an opinion. Corporate battles are always brutal, and connections are part of one's strength. Those who can't retain their allies are destined for bankruptcy. No one else is to blame. Gradually, the branch company expanded, while Lynn's losses grew heavier, showing signs of collapsing. Marcus was swamped daily, leaving him no time to bother me anymore. In the office, Sam reported on the Lynn's situation to me. Grace, Sam began, I heard Ashley is causing trouble again. Not only are funding approvals becoming stricter, but she's also using the company's financial difficulties as an excuse to cut all employees' salaries by more than half. She demands they work unpaid overtime and stand with the company, threatening termination for anyone who refuses. Meanwhile, she's increased her own salary by $50,000 and is expensing all her personal expenses. Many key employees have reached their breaking point and are leaving. They asked me to inquire if you, Grace, would be willing to offer them an opportunity to work for the Jiang. I've conducted background checks and screened for those who are both skilled and trustworthy. There are about 30 people remaining. Here are their resumes. What are your thoughts? Those who are wise adapt to circumstances. Since they're willing to join us, I certainly won't refuse, you handle it. There's no need to treat them specially, but they'll receive all the standard benefits and compensation. Although the Lynn still had half its employees, everyone was resentful due to insufficient funds. They were either slacking off or exploiting company resources, simply not doing their work diligently. When finally returned from his business trip, having secured a partnership, he came back to a chaotic company. He was furious. However, the terrible news awaiting him went far beyond that. Previously, Ashley, in an act of provocation and boastfulness, had intentionally posted the company's corporate seal on social media. As a result, opportunists used it to forge documents, impersonating the Lynn to negotiate partnerships in other cities. After signing several high-value contracts, they absconded with the money. Ashley had already fled out of town to lay low, and no one knew her whereabouts. Now, Marcus not only faced massive compensation claims but was also under investigation for suspected fraud, his reputation plummeting. The project he had just painstakingly secured also fell through, and he was thoroughly chastised by the other party. The already crumbling Lynn faced bankruptcy, a further blow to its precarious state. Marcus, however, wasn't entirely defeated. After all, there was still some real estate I had acquired for him. With those miscellaneous properties combined, he could still barely get through this ordeal. Yet, just when he needed the money most, he discovered Ashley had already taken all his funds for some financial investments, squandering every last cent. He had nothing left and was now $50 million in debt. It was then that Marcus realized how outrageous his behavior had been, indulging Ashley, that useless embezzler, and disregarding my warnings. He was filled with regret, but it was too late. Now, creditors from all sides came knocking, demanding repayment, and the situation escalated. Marcus was helpless. He pleaded with everyone for loans, but no one was willing to lend a hand, each one afraid of being dragged down by him. He completely broke down. 3 days later, I had Sam deliver the money, on the condition that he signed the divorce agreement. After all, my time was precious. I considered it paying for my peace of mind. Not long after, Marcus called. This time, I didn't hang up. Take the money and sign, or we'll see each other in court. Have you made up your mind? His voice was strained. Grace, can't you really give me another chance? We loved each other so much back then, why did it come to this? Marcus, you should ask yourself that. I don't have time to rehash old times with you. My voice was devoid of emotion. Marcus choked back a sob but eventually conceded. Fine, I'll sign. Before I hung up, Ethan's slightly displeased voice chimed in. Grace, are you done yet? Don't bother with unimportant people. Hurry and take me to eat. My coldness vanished, and I replied with a smile. All right, I'll take you now. Marcus heard it all. Perhaps he was stifling his sobs, his voice choked with regret as he confessed. I'm sorry, I was too foolish and messed up. I lost you. But what good was regret now? The damage was done, there was no going back. I had already been more than fair to him. I paid him no more mind. After hanging up, I deleted all his contact information. From then on, we were completely done, never to see each other again. Although the debts were settled, the Lynns still couldn't stay afloat. After going bankrupt, Marcus completely disappeared from high society. No one knew where he went. My parents knew about my divorce from Marcus. They had no objections, saying they were happy as long as I was. They just kept reminding me to take good care of Ethan. There was even a hint of matchmaking in their words. Ethan had been staying in Southwood ever since he returned to the country. It had been 3 full months, and he showed no signs of returning to Easton. Every day, he would either pull me along to try various cuisines or insist I go shopping with him. I'd often tease him that his prince reputation was well-deserved, and he'd blush and ignore me, which brought back some memories from my youth. At first, I was busy with work and dealing with Marcus's affairs, so I didn't pay close attention. Once I found a suitable person to manage the branch company and finally had some free time, I noticed Ethan's feelings for me. When he secretly looked at me, there was adoration in his eyes. But I had just been through a failed relationship, and he deserved better. Taking matters into my own hands, I bought Ethan a plane ticket back to Easton for 3 days later and had Sam arrange my schedule, purposefully creating distance. To my surprise, when he found out, he was so angry he tore up the ticket and even showed up at my hotel during my business trip to confront me. Grace, you went and got married without a word while I was abroad, and now that you're divorced, you're rejecting me again. I like you, I've liked you since we were kids, what right do you have to deny me a chance? If hadn't told me you used to like me, I would have missed my chance again. Hearing his bold confession, it would be a lie to say my heart didn't stir. After all, he was someone I used to like when I was younger. I just thought he saw me as nothing more than a sister, and then he went abroad to study, which allowed me to slowly let go of those feelings. I never imagined he liked me too. Fate truly works in mysterious ways. I couldn't help but sigh, all right, let's just let the past be. Too many changes have come between us, it's not right. Ethan's eyes instantly reddened, but his gaze remained firm. No. If I say it's right, it's right. He ignored everything, cupping my face and kissing me. His handsome face was flushed crimson. I've claimed you now, Grace. You're mine for life, you can't escape me. Otherwise, I'll go complain to your parents and have them scold you. After that, Ethan followed me everywhere, and I eventually gave in. Not long after, we officially confessed our feelings and started dating. When both families found out, they were overjoyed and urged us to return to Easton for the wedding. On our wedding day, Marcus, who hadn't appeared in a long time, sent me a message late at night from an unknown number. Grace, I wish you happiness. I love you. I glanced at it and deleted it immediately. Ethan, still groggy, pulled me into his arms. Grace, go to sleep. Good night. Later, I heard that Marcus found a carefree Ashley in Westford, 1,000 miles away. The two had a huge argument in the street. Marcus resented how good he had been to Ashley, only for her to destroy his family and, like an ungrateful wretch, ruin his life's work and tarnish his reputation. Ashley, in turn, scoffed at him for wanting to have your cake and eat it all, saying he had no one to blame but himself. Marcus, having reached his breaking point, ended up hitting Ashley with his car, killing her, and losing his own life in the process. The past had all faded into oblivion. It was time to cherish life and look to the future. Thank you for watching today's story. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your views, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.